I am going to blame this video on some of my friends. My friends that have expensive taste. That is one thing about being friends with content creators here on YouTube, is that you always end up going down the rabbit hole. That's right, you guys. We are going to be trying some Tom Ford today. Now, I recently decided to pick up a few pretties. I will say, I saved myself some money. You guys know, even if I'm gonna be a bougie bee, I'm gonna be a bougie bee who likes a good sale. So I did go to the CCO in my area, which is the cosmetics company outlet. I'll get into that in a little bit. So I got a couple of these items from not one, but 2 trips to the CCO store. And I did get a concealer that my friend Aileen over at Aether Beauty, again, like I told you, friends with expensive tastes. So Aileen picked up this concealer. It was too light for her bronzed, beautiful skin. So she sent it my way. We're gonna just play with this. I have one lipstick from Tom Ford, and I have the bronzer that, again, another friend, I wouldn't say forced me to get, but highly encouraged me, highly influenced me to get. So I've dipped my toes into the Tom Ford's waters, but I have never fully dove in. So today, while I don't say that we're doing a deep dive because I don't have a full face, I would say we're sort of like wading. We're wading in the Tom Ford luxury world, and I think it's gonna be good. We shall see. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I am a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Well, are you ready to see me try some Tom Ford items? Then let's get into it. We are going to start off with the Tom Ford Skin Illuminator for face and body. So man, just this packaging. It's like, if I don't like the products, I could probably like hang the boxes and just have my own like disco party up in here. So again, I picked this up at the cosmetic company outlet store. So this is basically under the Estee Lauder umbrella, and Tom Ford, both times that I've stopped in at the CCO. So I got these in not just one, but 2 visits to the store, and both times they had Tom Ford for 60% off. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal to me. And so I thought this would be a good way to try a few things. Now, what I'm gonna do is use this illuminator as like an all-over glow underneath our foundation. I saw this in 2 shades at the cosmetics company store. I'm gonna keep calling it the CCO because that is way too long of a name. So this is the shade Rose Glow. This is shade 2. They also had one that is definitely more golden than this. Now this is a fairly deep shade, but I'm thinking that that, you know, this would be really nice to like use as almost like an illuminating bronzer type shade. So, boy, you guys probably aren't even gonna be able to see that. Let me pump out another $375 worth of product. I will go ahead and make sure to post here prices of all of these, and then obviously I got 60% off of that. So you guys can see here, if I can get it, there we go. So this is like a bronzy, I would say it's definitely more on the bronzy side than like the rosy side, but it's nice and sheer. So I thought that we could use this to get a nice little glow going on. The scent is a little bit distracting. I don't love it. I'm not so sure. It just has a fragrance to it. If you have this product, let me know. Like, does it have a bit of like a stronger fragrance to it? So this, it's not duochromy because that's not Tom Ford style, but this is, it's like that like bronze that you get when your skin is tan and just like a tiny bit flushed. So I think, like, if you guys can see now, I have some sparkle on my hand from swatching some things in my last video that I just filmed. So hopefully you guys can see the difference there. It does definitely like deepen up the skin. It gives it a bit of a sheen. I thought maybe we would use this as a highlighter, but I think it's just gonna be too dark. So I think that if I were to use that as a highlighter, it would look very fake. It would probably look like I had a very bad fake shiny tan, and we are not going to do that. So I'm going to tuck the hair back here a little bit, get this situation under control. So I'm just going to go right in with my hands. We're going to take just a pump of this and pop this on. Ooh, this is real shiny, but I think that it's actually going to work pretty well underneath my foundation. So I could see this being really pretty on the body too. I'm not really one, like I'll do a little like shoulder or like clavicle situation highlight, but I'm not really usually one to do a lot of body highlighting. So I don't feel like I would have that much opportunity to use that, but maybe on vacation I could see doing that. Now, I will say that this is a very dry product. So this is not, it doesn't have like a creamy feel or an oily feel. It's already dried down. And again, because I haven't used any of these products that I'm planning on talking to you guys about today before, this really is just like a nice fun little first impressions video, but I will definitely have to use these a bit more to, you know, see how I really feel. But right off the bat, I could see putting this into like a hydrating serum or a little bit into my moisturizer to make it go a little further, like to spread it a little bit more easily. Not necessarily to take the saturation of the glow away, because I mean, while at first I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm gonna regret that. I feel like it just gave us like a nice little fresh glow. So I think I just want it more for like spreadability's sake, because it is a very dry feeling. So the good thing about that is if you have oily skin, I think that you would really like this product because it doesn't add a lot of like wet sheen to your skin. So I'm trying to decide if I just want to go like really light and fresh with my makeup and just use concealer. But I'm almost wondering, I did swatch this with Aileen on Marco Polo and I was like, oh, I don't know, this seems even too light for me, but it does oxidize a little bit. So I think we're gonna be okay. I think what I'm gonna do is use one of my favorite go-to like base products. That way I can really like test out this concealer and see what I think. So I'm just gonna go through with my Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. I think I'm gonna go through with the shade Bamboo. This is maybe a bit lighter than I am right now, but I did feel like this concealer is a bit light. So I'm gonna just add a little bit of this. So again, I know that I love the Complexion Rescue from Bare Minerals, and this is just gonna give us like a really nice light coverage. And because I know I love this one, I will really be able to see how I like the Tom Ford concealer. Again, this is the Emotionproof concealer. So I'm very excited to try this. I will say, just from swatching it, you know, I have high hopes. You know, sometimes when you can just tell by the creaminess of a concealer that you're like, oh, I think we're gonna be good friends. Me and my brows are back. It's a situation, I don't wanna talk about it. We've all been there, we've all been there. So moving on to the concealer. I am not sure, so let me show you guys the eyeshadow quad that I got. I did pick up the Tom Ford Soleil eye color quad in Soleil et Lune. Okay, so I haven't even taken the plastic off this guy yet. So let's go ahead and do that. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to, like, I want to give it its moment in the sun. Like, oh, so pretty. Like, I feel like, oh, you guys can see some of my brush collection there. And I know that this was, I believe this was one of the winter quads, but this to me is very springy. Like, you have this beautiful, like, I would say that that's like somewhere between like mint and teal, and then I love this like coppery rose gold. You guys know I'm gonna be all about that. So I think that this is gonna be so good. I will probably have to pull in a matte. Let's go ahead and swatch this. What I was going to say is I don't know if I should put on my concealer first or last, because I don't know, since I've never used a Tom Ford eyeshadow, I don't know how the fallout is. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and do my eyes first. Why don't we go ahead and do that? So I'm just gonna pop on a little bit of this as an eye primer. That way we can try that as well, but let's go ahead and swatch these shades and we will see what we have. So I'm sure that all of you have probably already seen this quad, but I have not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch this right on the back of my hand. We have the 4 shades and there aren't any names, so I'm just gonna take them and quickly swatch them here. Now, of course, this palette is a wet dry formula, so I will probably experiment with that a little bit just so that we can see what these look like, both wet and dry. Usually the first time I use something, I try it dry, and then the next time I go in, I will try it wet just to see what the impact is. So here are the shades. Hopefully you guys can see. Now I will say that this is definitely, when it is done dry, it is definitely a more sheer formula. So if you know me, you know a lot of the time I like to pack a punch. I like a good, soft, natural looking face, but I like my eyes to pack a punch. So We will probably end up wetting these shadows. I'm not gonna lie, but I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and lay down some color first with the like dry shadow just to see how we feel, and then we can layer over it with some wet if need be. Okay, so let's pop a little bit of this concealer on. Now this is the shade number 5. It's 5.0 Bare Beige. So in the bottle, it actually looked a little bit cool toned, but I don't think it is. Like, I think it's at least a neutral. I was searching on the Tom Ford site. By the way, this is just some random brush that I've been using. I used it earlier today for my concealer, and so I'm just gonna carry on with that. But I was looking on the Tom Ford website. I don't see anywhere where they list the undertones of this concealer. So that to me is a little bit frustrating, because if I'm purchasing something online, which a lot of us do in general, but you know, especially right now, I want to know the undertone of something. Like, it's already hard enough to pick a shade from a picture, but can you at least tell me the undertone so that I know that I can get a little bit closer? So I think that this is actually a pretty darn good shade match. So again, I'm not really trying to like get like mega high coverage from this. I'm just looking to get like a nice little base that we can go ahead and put shadow over. I'm gonna take a little bit of the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and I'm just gonna tap this. Like, I barely put any on my brush. This is one of the brushes from the Katie Jane Hughes and Spectrum collection. This is the 01 brush. So just gonna pop a little bit of that on, and then we will go in. So if you guys know, I am definitely team no fingers, so I don't think that I will be applying these with my fingers. If a shadow has to be applied with fingers to perform well, I don't think it's a good shadow. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm trying to decide what I want to be like most of the lid. I really want to use, I don't know if I'll use the gunmetal shade, but I mean, it's so like sheer that I don't even think that it's going to be that crazy. But man, that like beautiful like seafoamy color, I like it. Okay, but I think we're gonna take this more like bronzy rose gold and start with that. So again, I did get this palette for 60% off, which at 60% off I felt like okay, that's a decent price for an eye quad of good caliber. I have to say, I don't know that right now I'm feeling like it was worth it. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother putting it dry over the whole eye. I'm just gonna go straight in and wet my brush. So let's pop a little bit more onto the brush here. I was using a Sigma Firm shader. I had a feeling that I was gonna need something pretty tightly packed to be able to get a good amount of color. And then I'm just using some MAC Fix Plus. By the way, this is the coconut one. It is a little bit more like warmer in color. It's not like expired. It's just that the scented one had a little bit more pigment to it in the bottle. Okay, I'm zooming you guys in so that you can tell me if I'm crazy. I feel like, and granted, any shimmery shade is going to show texture on the lid, and I am going to try to give the shadow the benefit of the doubt and wonder if maybe it's because I laid down the shadow first dry and then tried to go over the top wet. So honestly, I am not picking up much of this color on my brush. Like, I am trying, I am digging. I'm worried that I'm gonna get hard pan. I'm pressing so hard to get some off. So I'm gonna go in on the other side and try to lay this down. Maybe it's just that I'm like expecting too much. I mean, here on like a nice tight surface, it looks like glossy almost, but it just is looking a little bit flaky. Okay, you know what? We're gonna try the finger. We're gonna try pressing this over the top. Like I said, I don't necessarily think that you should have to use a finger to make eyeshadows work. I have a lot of eyeshadows that I never use my fingers in, and I feel like they come out beautifully. See, this is why I don't use my fingers, because I always get it underneath. I get it everywhere. I get it everywhere. So these quads, I'm gonna try to like even some of this out. So these quads are regularly $88. $88. That is like obviously 22 US dollars for each shade. Now, I have paid upwards of what, $15, $17 for an eyeshadow before from some of like the indie brands, some of my specialty shades from like Cleona or Terra Moons, I believe, or some of them get up there. But those I've usually been like, yep, I'm so glad that I did that. If I paid $22 for each of these, I would be pretty disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. There is just something about this, like, and I don't think you guys are gonna be able to see it, but it just looks, it looks patchy. It looks a little bit patchy. If you are a Tom Ford user, let me know. Am I doing something wrong? I obviously won't really know until I use this with like a different eye base, because maybe it just doesn't go well with the concealer as a base, but I use concealer as base a lot. Obviously not this concealer, because this is gonna be the first time I'm using the concealer. So anyway, we are going to move on. So I think I'm gonna use this same brush and just give it a good clean and take that more like sea foamy shade and pop that in my outer corner. Again, I get that these are going to be a sheer wash of color, but I've never had to dip into a pan so often to like pick up pigment. So I'm just trying to like mesh and meld the two together so that obviously we have a little bit more of like a gradient effect rather than like paint by numbers. This is not an $88 eyeshadow look. This is not, I don't even know if this is an $8 eyeshadow look. Like honestly, I have one of those little like e.l.f. bite-sized palettes, and those are like $3. And I feel like I got a better result from that. Okay. Why don't we take that light shade and we're gonna pop it up underneath our brow bone, just using it dry. So going in with like that kind of like shimmery vanilla. We're just gonna pop this under the brow bone, and then I'm gonna use a little bit of bronzer to go ahead and do my crease. I mean, I will say, like, that is one thing about this palette. Like, I thought the colors were very pretty. I do think you could combine like any two of these shades. I don't necessarily know that I would ever use all of them in one look. So I also feel like you need more shades. Like you need a good matte color, especially because these aren't very pigmented. Like you need something with some pigment to it. You gotta have it. So this will be an accompaniment palette for me if I can figure out a way to make it work that I don't, you know, get so frustrated. So I'm just gonna go through with the Tom Ford Glow Bronzer. This is the shade Terra. This is what my friend Jennifer Alfeisty said that she loves, and she alerted me to a sale at Macy's around the holidays, and I was like, okay, that is a really good price on that bronzer. I'm gonna pick that up. So I did. So here we are, and I'm gonna use this in my crease. So I'm taking the Wayne Goss number 4 brush and just gonna dip in and honestly just give a little blend and blur to these shades and a bit of dimension to my eye shape. There we go, I guess. So that's about as good as it's gonna get, you guys. I don't know. I am kind of speechless right now. If you are a Tom Ford user, please tell me, did I do something wrong? I also am very concerned because look at, it almost already looks like I'm getting some hard pan on this eyeshadow. And obviously I know that I can just like scrape that off, but for what would have been $88, I don't think I should have to do that. So concealer. let's try to move on and get a little more positivity going into this try on. So I'm gonna move my hair out of the way here. It's driving me nuts. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this again to brighten up the inner corner now. And I'm just gonna use this the way I would any other concealer. I also usually like to take a little bit down the middle of my nose to become almost like a reverse contour. And especially right now, because my chin is suffering from some breakouts, we want to blend that as well. So I'm not going to use this. I mean, first of all, I feel like my skin is doing pretty good other than the remnants of those breakouts. I'm not going to use this as really a true spot concealer. I just want to like get a bit more coverage and use this to brighten the face. So Tom Ford says that this is a waterproof full coverage concealer. So we will see what we think of those claims. I honestly will not be able to attest to the longevity of this today, just because it is right now 11:30 at night. And while I was actually planning on filming another video after this, I honestly can't imagine doing that with this eye look. I'm not gonna lie. And I can't imagine working on the lower lash line is gonna change that all that much. So, what does it say for finish? Tom Ford says it is full coverage, transfer proof, and waterproof. It also says you can help cover tattoos, and it says that it has a naturally radiant finish. Okay, so the weird thing is I do think that this is radiant, as in it has a very slight sheen to it. Let me put some on my hand. Okay, so I popped a little bit of this onto my hand. So that's it, like basically still quote unquote wet. Let me tell you, this stuff dries down really fast. Like I feel like even in the amount of time that I've been like waving my hand here, it's already dried down. So, I mean, I don't know that I would call that radiant. And it dries really fast. I think my under eyes look creasy. I am also like a little bit dry right now, but no more dry than I have been for like the last month. If anything, I'm a little less dry. I am really trying. I'm really struggling because I don't want to be like a negative Nancy, but I mean, this concealer full price is $54. $54. I do think that I could see this being a good concealer for covering blemishes. This is a great shade for like a brightening concealer, but it's not really gonna be like that spot concealer shade for me. Wow, okay. I just feel like my under eyes look so dry. I don't even know what to do to help with this. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of Fix Plus and see if I can just like work a little bit of like a damp brush into this situation to try to like undo the creasing a little bit. I might try this with a damp beauty blender next time, like a damp sponge. I feel like this area on me between the like powdery, slightly crispy looking eyeshadow and the concealer situation, I feel like I look 10 years older. I am 39, and so I am not trying to push that envelope any more than life is already making me push it. So, okay, all right, we're just gonna keep going. We are gonna keep going. Okay, I am just taking this brush that I used when I set that concealer as my primer. I'm using whatever is left on the brush just to like get rid of any tackiness that's there, especially since I just tried to use that Fix Plus to like see if I could work a little bit of life back into that concealer. But I don't need any more. I don't need any more powdery feeling. So can you guys see, like, I feel like where I put the tinted moisturizer, I have a nice glow, and I don't feel like I see that in the areas like where I put the concealer. So sorry, I'm looking in the monitor just so that I can like see if you guys are able to see what I can see. I feel like I look much more dehydrated and flat where I put the concealer. So to me, that's not a natural radiant finish. All right, so first, let's take a little bit of that vanilla shade And we're gonna pop this in our inner corners using a wet brush because I wanna give these shadows, I mean, I was afraid I would really like these too much. I mean, I don't necessarily wanna get into a habit of spending $88 on 4 eyeshadows, but you know, if I saw a beautiful color story and I felt like this formula was really nice, I would have maybe considered doing it. But I don't think I'm going to be doing it anytime soon. Again, if you are a Tom Ford shadow user and I'm doing something wrong, please tell me. If I'm expecting something, I mean, I wasn't expecting like bam, super pigmented. That is really not the Tom Ford aesthetic. I get that. I do want them to not make my eyes look more aged. I don't think that that's too much to ask. So now I'm just gonna take a Sonia G. This is the Crease Pro, and I think I'm just gonna go with the green, the little like seafoamy shade on this brush dry, and I'm just gonna blur a little bit of this underneath the lash line. In all honesty, I should probably just be using the bronzer because like a matte shade is going to help hide the creasing from this concealer a little bit more than the shimmer shade, but at this point I don't care. I'm just all in. I'm even gonna try to like pack on a little bit more. I'm so bummed. This shade just looked like so pretty. I could maybe see, maybe if I use like a glitter glue, that would help these. Like maybe next time I'm gonna try using like one of my cream shadows to lay down, like just a matte cream shadow, and then use a glitter glue and tap some of this on as like a topper shade. I will give that a go. I think that's where we're gonna be. That's where we're gonna be with this, so I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna curl my lashes. I'm gonna just throw on some of this Hourglass Unlocked. This is a tubing mascara, so it'll be easy to wash off when I'm done with this video, and I'm trying to use this mascara up before it gets all chunky monkey. So, okay, lovelies, I went ahead and just did one quick coat of that mascara. Honestly, my eyes are getting a little bit irritated, and I think that's just because I was trying to like get some good pigment from that aqua shadow underneath my lash line that I was just like buffing the bejesus out of them. So one coat is all you're gonna get today. Sorry about that, but I thought what I would do is, since we're already just like throwing caution to the wind, I know I said that I wasn't going to use this skin illuminator as a highlight, and I don't think I'm gonna do that, but what I thought I might do is try to use it as like a glowy bronzer situation, especially since there's like that slight rosy tone to it. I'm wondering if it can be a blonzer. That's what we're saying now, like blush bronzer, right? So I do think I want to like mix it with something though, just to give it a bit of spreadability, and I'm trying to think what I want to use for that. I am going to use a little bit of this Belief Hungarian water essence. Honestly, this is just like an incredibly sheer, like I'm putting it on like just underneath. You guys probably won't even be able to see that, but I'm putting it on just underneath these swatches. It's almost like a watery serum, and it just gives a little bit of hydration. So I am going to cocktail these two together. So I've mixed a little bit of this guy in, and we're just gonna try mixing these. I'm hoping that this gives me a little bit more playtime, and that B, it like maybe shears it out just a little bit. Okay. Is it just me hoping that I'm making a product work, or is it actually working? Actually, it's kind of funny because this texture reminds me a little bit of this Say Glowy Super Gel that I was just recently talking about. It's like a weird, like liquidy, watery. Now, obviously that's because I mixed these two together, so that's not on the Tom Ford product. That's just this little concoction, but they do have a very similar vibe. So obviously this is going to be shimmery. So if you don't want any shimmer, don't use this. But I think, like, you know, come summertime, that little bit of like sheen, and this definitely doesn't have like sparkle to it. So it really just is that like J-Lo glow for sure. the things we do to try to catch the angles. Like, it's so funny. I laugh at myself sometimes editing these things later, but I'm just trying to show you guys. But you guys can see here, that's that consistency that I got, and it's remaining a little bit more emollient, whereas on its own, this already would have dried down, like no doubt. But boy, I mean, it does make a really nice like little body bronzer. All right, now that we've got that one on, and I'm sorry you guys, if you were hearing my chair squeak, it just recently decided to develop this squeak and it's super annoying, and I don't really want to have to get a new one because it's pretty. You guys probably never see it, but it's this beautiful, like, it's not really rose gold, but it's like that kind of like blushy shade. I really like it and I don't want to get a new one. It looks so pretty here in my room. But anyway, if I have to, I'm gonna get another one. I might have Jeremy look at it and see if he can doctor it up. But blush. I don't have a Tom Ford blush, but I did recently get this Merit blush that was another recommendation off of Jennifer from All Feisty. By the way, I will make sure to have her channel linked below and Aileen's over at Aether Beauty so that you guys can go check them out and, you know, spend more money. I'm not gonna lie. So, okay, this is the Merit shade Beverly Hills, and I did just pick this up in the Sephora sale. I tried this on the night that I did my live haul, but I really haven't gotten much use out of this. So we're gonna just pop this over that little bronzy situation that we just got. I think this is gonna look really nice. We're pulling it together. We're pulling it together. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that necessarily that blush color was like the best match for the lip gloss that I got, but I don't care. And also, I got this lip gloss before I decided to go back to my rosy hair, so it's probably gonna clash a little bit, but it just looked so damned pretty. There's a train. Again, Aileen, I saw her when she was on vacation. She was wearing the Tom Ford lip gloss in, I believe it's the shade Frenzy. Is that right? Yes, I believe it's Frenzy. I'm just looking because it's not the one that I got. I actually swatched both of them and I decided to go with this other one. So this is the Gloss Luxe, and I actually got the shade Nikita. So Frenzy is a bit more of like a coral. It's like an orange coral, whereas to me, Frenzy is just like, it's straight up orange. It's orange with a bit of like a very, very fine gold shimmer. Like, this is probably the finest gold shimmer I've seen in a lip gloss. So hopefully you guys will be able to see this here. Again, I don't necessarily think it goes with the blush we put on, but I mean, we can sheer it out enough. I probably could have used like a beautiful like tangerine-y peachy color, but I just wanted to use the Merit and try it. So I think that this so far looks really good, but I'm gonna just whack on a little bit of this gloss to see what we think. So it has a bit of a like vanilla-esque. Yeah, a bit of a vanilla-esque scent. I actually really like the scent of this. It's not too cloying and it's not like flowery. I find that a lot of high-end brands, I don't know why they do that, but they have this like flowery, perfumey scent. I don't want that on my lips, especially. Okay, this gloss does feel really, really nice. I'm not gonna use a lip liner. You certainly could, obviously, to make it a beautiful, like more opaque color, but first of all, I feel like the rest of this look is very like sheer wash of color, so I don't want like lips in your face. I love the color and I love the feel. I'm trying to think of a gloss formula that I have that I feel like is similar to this. It's very smooth and buttery and creamy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on this for a little bit, but it's very comfortable. Honestly, I think that the lip gloss is my favorite thing out of the mix. Now, granted, it's kind of hard to screw up lip gloss. Unless it's like gritty shimmer or it's really, really sticky, I feel like a lip gloss can be really pretty, but I do like this shade. I am actually really glad that I got this one because I could see in the summertime, especially once some of this like rosy color kind of pops out of my hair and I'm more back to like beigey blonde, I could see like making this more fiery orange with a beautiful like lip liner and just having that bold lip. Now, I will say that this is not the shiniest gloss. I feel like it's a more natural shine to it. So almost more of like a satin finish, unless my lips were just so damn dry that they like ate it all up. But even on my hand, I don't feel like, you know, once you get this like, yeah, once you get this spread out, it's not like super glassy gloss. It's more of that like natural finish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use a bit of a setting spray. What should we use? I'm just gonna go through with the Charlotte Tilbury. This way we can see what this looks like when it's all set down. Obviously I don't need the longevity of this because I'm gonna be going to bed soon. It is almost midnight. So I have to say, I am more happy with the eyeshadow than I was to begin with. I don't know if it was like just time on my face or if I just got used to it. I'm honestly not sure, but I don't think the eyeshadow is quite as bad as what I thought it was. It's still not amazing. Like, I don't think I would ever buy another Tom Ford eyeshadow quad given this. Now maybe this formula or like maybe this quad in particular, is it known to kind of like have some issues? I don't know. It doesn't look horrible, but I feel like I can see a lot of like texture on my lids more than I would with other shimmer shadows. The concealer I am going to be excited to try. First of all, on a day where I've like done my full skincare prep routine, it's not at the end of the night when I've washed my face to then put on more makeup again. I don't think that it's bad. I think it's actually gonna be a really great like spot concealer. This shade right now for me is probably gonna be more of my winter shade for that, but I'm okay with that. I could definitely see like pulling this one out in the fall and winter. I just feel like for me, maybe also using a glowy setting spray would help just to bring back some of that radiance, but it's just a little bit more matte than I would usually prefer. So I'm gonna give that like a B. It's not something I hate. It's just not something that I could see like, yeah, I want to pick that up again. Thank you to Aileen, by the way, for sending that over for me to try. I, again, do need to just give it a little bit more of a go to see how I feel about it. This Skin Illuminator, I have to say, I didn't notice much of a difference using it underneath my makeup as like a primer. I didn't really notice anything. I feel like it's almost too dry for that, but I did like using it with those like hydrating drops basically. The other one that I use for things like that is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Juice. So something that just has like a sheer like gelée consistency to it is something that's always great to mix something like this with. So that I really like. I think that this is just a really beautiful kind of like unique tone. So I think I'm gonna get some use out of this summer. I was trying to get things that I didn't already have in other brands, right? I was like, don't go, like there were a few other like sheeny products and I was like, okay, you guys know that I like the Auric products, so like the Glow Lust. I was trying to get something that wasn't like that. They did have like a glowy primer situation and I was like, no, you have 2 shades from Auric. You don't need anything more like that. But this color, the tone of this really got me. So I am happy that I picked that up. I think I'm going to enjoy using it for a bit of like JLo Glow this summer. And of course the lip gloss. Again, like I said, I think it's my favorite thing that I got out of this set. And really, I mean, with the discount, honestly, this was like priced near a lot of my other like mid-range lip glosses. Do I think I could pay full price for this lip gloss? Probably not. It is a nice lip gloss, but it's nothing that is going to be like, oh my God, I need 10 of those. So if I get a good deal on another one, might I pick one up? Yeah, sure. But that's just me. You guys know, like, I just find that I have a lot of like mid-range and even some drugstore brands that are great. And I think lip gloss is one of those products that you can find at a lower price point. But, you know, if you are someone that loves some good, beautiful packaging, because I will say I love the Tom Ford packaging. Like, I think that this eye quad, just that like chic white and gold is beautiful. I really like this lip gloss. Like this to me, like just pulling this out of your purse, like, you know, you're in the back, you're like in Manhattan and you're in the back of your like chartered car. What do they call that? Is there a thing? A service? I don't even know, but something like basically Uber for rich people, whatever that would be. And then you've got your little compact out and you're like using your Tom Ford gloss in the back before you get out at your like next like red carpet event. I don't know, whatever. I bought the lip gloss. I'm really gonna enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see me try these products. Please let me know what you think. Again, let me know if there's something that I did that you think I could have shifted different to get a better result out of the things that I didn't love. And again, since this is just a first impressions, I will be making sure to give you guys an update and a review roundup in the future, so keep an eye out for that. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you aren't already, because I like to give little casual updates on there. We'll chat in stories. You guys can drop me a DM. If there's something that you immediately need to tell me that I did something wrong, go DM me over on Instagram. It's KEEPBEAUTYREAL. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate that. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and I will see you really soon.